never seen combat before. Some were still only in their teens. In their letters and diaries, we see their great strength. This is an extract from a letter by Captain Alistair Bannerman of the Royal Warwickshire Regiment, addressed to his wife and written in his diary on the morning of D-Day. It is now 0300 hours in the morning, and I've just been up to the bridge. It is rather light because the moon is shining, though heavy clouds cover her. One can see the row of small ships and of darker balloons silhouetted in front and behind us against the grey sea. You, my angel, sleep gently in the nursery, I hope. Your thoughts have helped me so much. They have given me real strength. I can imagine how you listen to the news at 9 o'clock and think of me with love. I hope that Andrew's golden head rests gently and quietly upon his small pillow, and that Richard is nice and comfortable, lying in his narrow little carry-cot. A long line of flares hangs over Cherbourg, or I suppose it is Cherbourg, and a few anti-aircraft tracer shots go up in the air above the immediate front line. Funny to imagine that their Germans run around their guns. I'd like to know what they are thinking. The whole channel between us and Cherbourg is filled with little ships, which all quietly and efficiently sail towards France. The British, Canadian, and American fighting forces on the warpath. I do not believe that I can now write for very long. We can now see the French coast, and very soon we will have to play our part. I must go now and look for the landing markings with my binoculars to ascertain our landing points. So, my darling, on we go. I know that you are with me. Au revoir, God bless, I love you. Captain Bannerman survived the landings and the war, being taken prisoner and returning home to his wife and sons in April the next year. Too many never returned. They remain in some corner of a foreign field that is forever England. We will always remember those who served and those who waved them off, the mothers and fathers, brothers and daughters who watched their loved ones go into battle, unsure if they would ever return. Today we remember the bravery of those who crossed this sea to liberate Europe, those who ensured that Operation Overlord was a success, and those who waited for their safe return.
and the realities of what was faced is what will be marked over the next 2 days, because in the end, what it gave the United Kingdom and the old empire, and indeed much of the world, was an end to the tyranny of that time.
Alistair, significant that we are lucky that a number of veterans will be able to join the commemorations today and tomorrow, both in the United Kingdom and France, surrounded by the dignitaries. It's good to see that we still have veterans who are able to join us.
Indeed, the King was born 4 years after the events on D-Day. And in his own way, he knows that he can't be the focus of this event, although as head of state, he provides that lens. The real people for today and tomorrow are those who have survived since then, the veterans who are close to or over 100 years old. And they were young once, and they remember those who they trained with, who didn't come back. But they also remember that they were part of something that really mattered in their generation and on which so much depended. And whilst they may not have realised it, because young people don't, they have subsequently become aware more and more of how high a price their generation paid.
Yes, of course, and significant as we have wars raging in Ukraine and the Middle East, in Gaza right now. So young people
and we also
recognise.
Sorry to interrupt. We also have the great privilege of a general election, the capacity for every person in the United Kingdom who has a vote to express it. And that was something that was denied by Nazi Germany as they marched through different parts of Europe. And it was the return to that democracy and that freedom, which may be imperfect in many ways, but it is that too which elevates our thoughts when we look at each and every one of those veterans.
Yeah, absolutely, a very good point there. Alistair Bruce, for now, thank you very much indeed. Well, let's bring you some breaking news now. And Amanda Knox has failed to overturn her historic slander conviction in an Italian court today. Joining me now is our Europe correspondent Siobhan Robbins with the details. So she's tried before and
Ladies and gentlemen, 80 years ago today, Field Marshal Montgomery, Commander-in-Chief of the Allied Ground Forces, wrote in his message to all soldiers on the eve of D-Day, "To us is given the honor of striking a blow for freedom which will live in history, and in the better days that lie ahead, men will speak with pride of our doings." Today we come together to honor those nearly 160,000 British, Commonwealth and Allied troops who, on the 5th of June 1944, assembled here and along these shores to embark on the mission which would strike that blow for freedom and be recorded as the greatest amphibious operation in history. Those who gathered here in Portsmouth would never forget the sight. It was by far the largest military fleet the world has ever known. Yet all knew that both victory and failure were possible, and none could know their fate. Aircrew flying overhead, sailors manning warships, or troops in assault craft battering their way through the stormy swell to the shore, whether dropping by parachute, landing in a wooden glider, or taking that terrible leap of faith onto the beaches. All must have questioned whether they would survive and how they would respond when faced with such mortal danger. The poet Keith Douglas, who was killed in action 3 days later, wrote of the embarkation. "Actors waiting in the wings of Europe, we already watch the lights on the stage and listen to the colossal overture begin. For us, entering at the height of the din, it will be hard to hear our thoughts, hard to gauge how much our conduct owes to fear or fury." At this remove, 8 decades later, it is a near impossible task to imagine the emotion of that day. The pride of being part of so great an enterprise, the anxiety of in some way not coming up to scratch, and the fear of that day being their last. I recently myself spoke to veterans who, to this day, remember with such heartbreaking clarity the sight of those many soldiers lying on the beach who drowned before they could even engage in combat. The stories of courage, resilience, and solidarity, which we have heard today and throughout our lives, cannot fail to move us, to inspire us, and to remind us of what we owe to that great wartime generation, now tragically dwindling to so few. It is our privilege to hear their testimony, but our role is not purely passive. It is our duty to ensure that we and future generations do not forget their service and their sacrifice in replacing tyranny with freedom. Our rights and the liberty won at such terrible cost bring with them responsibilities to others in the exercise of that liberty. The Allied actions of that day ensured the forces of freedom secured first a toehold in Normandy, then liberated France, and ultimately the whole of Europe from the stranglehold of a brutal totalitarianism. And as we remember with humility, pride, and gratitude, let us never forget that the soldiers who fought in the campaign launched from this place came from 30 nations, from across the United Kingdom, the Commonwealth, and allied countries, while elsewhere in Europe, Allied forces continued to make vital progress in their successful Italian campaign. And while halfway around the world, at that same moment, the critical battles of Imphal and Kohima raged on in what was then Burma. The 1944 Victoria Cross Roll of Honor includes Sikh, Muslim, and Hindu soldiers. A reminder that events that year shaped our world then and the society we share today. While it was the frontline troops who faced the greatest personal dangers, the privations and sacrifices of war were endured by so many more. The Allied victory was a truly collective effort, born of the fortitude and hard work of those who remained on the home front, toiling in factories, under our land in the mines, out in the fields, or working in secret, men and women alike. Their collective industry, ingenuity, and commitment helped our soldiers, sailors, and airmen to prevail. So, as we give thanks for all those who gave so much to win the victory, whose fruits we still enjoy to this day, let us once again commit ourselves always to remember, cherish, and honor those who served that day and to live up to the freedom they died for by balancing rights with civic responsibilities to our country. For we are all eternally in their debt.
On the eve of D-Day, as soldiers steeled themselves along this shore, a personal message from General Bernard Montgomery, commanding all Allied ground forces, was read to all troops.
This reading is a personal message from General Montgomery, Commander-in-Chief of the 21st Army Group. It was to be read out to all troops on the eve of D-Day. The time has come to deal the enemy a terrific blow in Western Europe. The blow will be struck by the combined sea, land, and air forces of the Allies, together constituting one great Allied team under the supreme command of General Eisenhower. On the eve of this great adventure, I send my best wishes to every soldier in the Allied team. To us is given the honor of striking a blow for freedom which will live in history. And in the better days that lie ahead, men will speak with pride at our doings. We have a great and righteous cause. Let us pray that the Lord mighty in battle will go forth with our armies, and that his special providence will aid us in the struggle. I want every soldier to know that I have complete confidence in the successful outcome of the operations that we are now about to begin. With stout hearts and enthusiasm for the contest, let us go forward to victory. And as we enter battle, let us recall the words of a famous soldier spoken many years ago. He either fears his fate too much, or his deserts are small, who dare not put it to the touch to win or lose it all. Good luck to each one of you, and good hunting on the mainland of Europe.
For the Prime Minister.
Yes, and the words that General Montgomery used are very different from those that might be used today, but they were in their own sense unbelievably motivating to this mass of people who had prepared on the 5th of June and were on their way to those beaches of Normandy on the 6th. And I think that by reflecting on them and looking into the eyes of those veterans who we've been seeing as they gather and as they stand to hear their king earlier, you know, that was a motivating factor in a time of immense fear. And what they have handed us as a generation is the freedom by which today people are preparing to express their own wish for the political advantages and future of the country. And that was almost an impossibility to comprehend for many parts of Europe sitting underneath the jackboot of the Nazi domination and tyranny. And so as those young people, and some of them were 17, 16, mostly around 18 to 24, setting off with incredible determination, but absolutely no certainty whatsoever that it would be a success, and yet it worked. And for them to do all of that, to be remembered for the generation, those of them who have survived to this day, and for them to be acknowledged and commemorated with such respect, I think is tremendous. And I think in the King's words, where he reflected Montgomery as well, there is a sense that we are recalling a time of great achievement by so many people across the United Kingdom and across the whole of the Commonwealth, and the allies that the King referred to as well.
Thanks very much, Alistair. Well, the event's almost drawing to a close in Portsmouth, but they're continuing later on this afternoon into this evening in France. Our correspondent Rhiannon Mills is in Arromanches with some of those taking part there.
If you have never been to Normandy for D-Day, and it is my first time, as you can see, people make the most amazing efforts. Taking you guys to get here.
We've been here for 3 days now.
3 days, okay.
Yeah,
and you've been here before?
5 years ago.
5
years ago, yeah.
Okay. And why is it so important for you to come?
I think it's part of remembering the day. It's important to everybody.
It was an amazing generation that did an amazing job, and we shouldn't ever forget them.
Never forget.
Well, certainly these guys here are helping to, in a way, bring it all to life, because, of course, over the last couple of days we've been talking about how, sadly, those veterans are just getting older and older now. They're in their late 90s, early 100s. And them telling their stories is really important. But if you speak to anyone here who's involved in any of this kind of reenactment stuff, they will tell you that soon, of course, what they describe as the metal veterans, so all of these vehicles are going to be the only thing that's really still surviving from those days 80 years ago. Of course, over the next few days we're going to see big commemorative events, but yeah, it is amazing to see the number of people who've travelled here to make sure that this 80th anniversary is as important and as special as it should be.
We'll be returning to Rhiannon a little bit later this afternoon as events continue in France. Well, away from D-Day to politics, and in a heated first debate of the election campaign, Sir Keir Starmer rubbished suggestions from Rishi Sunak that a Labour government would raise taxes by £2,000. The pair also clashed on the economy, immigration and the NHS, with the debate host often asking them to lower their voices and stop talking over one another. Deputy Political Editor Sam Coates has more.
The two men vying to lead the country, head-to-head on the debate stage for the first time, addressing an audience in Salford, but the country beyond is their real target.
I'm seeking your backing to change our country, to make it work once again for you and your family.
You know what I would do? I'll cut your taxes, protect your pension, and reduce immigration.
The cost of living, the first topic from a voter struggling to pay their bills.
Our economy is growing again, wages are rising, and crucially, we are able to now start cutting your taxes. But I know you're only just starting to see the benefits of that, as you described.
He says the plan is working. So the question for him is, why has he called the election now? He's called it now because he knows, and I'll ask him this, he knows inflation is going to go back up. He knows energy prices are going to go back up in the autumn. That's what he's not telling you.
The two leaders trading blows from the off and hard to control.
Rishi Sunak and Keir Starmer, I am going to draw a line under this part of the debate.
The NHS, the next battleground. The PM had pledged to get waiting lists down.
We went through the best part of 2 years where the NHS couldn't conduct all the treatments it normally would, and it is going to take time to recover from that. But we are now making progress. The waiting lists are coming down.
You said you'd get them down. 7.2 million, they're now 7.5 million. I'd like you to explain how they're coming down.
Because they were coming down from where they were when they were higher.
7.2.
air and land assault, codenamed Operation Overlord, on Nazi-occupied France. Their aim, to make a foothold in Nazi territory to liberate occupied Europe. But hundreds of miles of fortifications known as the Atlantic Wall stood in their way. The operation had been planned for months, and thousands of troops gathered along the south coast of England, waiting for the optimum conditions to launch the invasion. To ensure success, the Allies deployed a series of deception campaigns to fool the Nazis and deflect German resources from the real target, with bombing raids carried out right across northern France. After a day's delay due to unfavourable weather conditions, Operation Neptune, the naval aspect of the invasion, began around midnight of the 6th of June. An hour later, and the first British and American planes flew over Normandy, dropping around 13,000 paratroopers behind enemy lines and attacking key strategic German positions from above. D-Day had begun. Various problems, including navigation, communication, and heavy enemy fire, meant that many of the paratroopers landed off course, leaving scores dead or missing. Attention then turned to the beach assaults. German military leaders were expecting an invasion, but they believed the attacks from the air were only an attempt to divert their attention before an attack further up the coast near to Calais. The element of surprise helped tens of thousands of British troops to establish a foothold on beaches codenamed Gold and Sword. The Canadian forces themselves had another beach called Juno, and 73,000 Americans arrived in small landing craft on the westernmost beaches of Omaha and Utah. At Omaha, they were confronted with relentless machine gun and artillery fire. Many of the landing craft became floating targets, with casualties beginning to mount. Those who landed at Utah Beach, which had been added as a target at the 11th hour to allow an assault on Cherbourg, were also affected by poor weather. At Gold Beach, British troops faced stiff opposition, but a combination of air support, precise naval shelling, and sheer bravery allowed them to secure a beachhead and push on to capture strategically important locations, allowing the flow of essential supplies. At Juno Beach, almost half the first wave of Canadian troops were killed or injured. Those that did survive managed to take more territory that first day than the British and Americans. And British forces landing at Sword Beach too faced strong resistance. It took until the afternoon for the paratroopers and commandos to fully take control of their intended target. By the end of the day, Allied forces were holding key areas of northern France's coast. Over the next month, US troops were able to push way inland, creating a safe zone around the port of Cherbourg, where they could then land more men and more equipment. Gradually, they continued pushing through northern France, and within 3 months, they liberated Paris. On D-Day itself, the US Army counted almost 3,500 troops dead or missing, with more than 6,500 more wounded. The Canadians lost 335 men, and almost 1,000 were injured.
They've looked after you all right today. They've done beautiful. Good. Couldn't have done better. So where do you have to come from today? All from the Isle of Wight. Oh, I see. Look, hi. Well, that's a great. How are you, Henri? Yes, it was a very good trip. And, so are you ex-Navy? No, I'm the Sherwood Rangers. Tanks. Oh, yes. So were you in those tank landing craft? No, I went over as a sort of reserve tank. And then 3 weeks after I landed on D-Day, evening, 3 weeks later I was playing and I got hit and I had both my legs amputated. So they both came off. But it's hell, presumably, being hit in a tank. Absolutely. It just blew up straight in. But have they improved your... completely. They get better and better all the time. You are amazing. So you must be 100. I'm 99. 99.
He's waiting for his card next year.
Yes, I'm waiting to see it.
When's your birthday?
April 17th.
April 17th. Oh, next
year, I'm afraid.
Because you must have been very young then.
19.
19. Is this all your family?
Oh, well, yes, it is. They've all done marvellously by me. Yes, and a lady who has been looking after me from Portsmouth. Have you heard of this?
Yes, I have. It's such a good organisation.
They've looked after me.
I'm so glad. Anyway, you've got used to it all, but I don't know what we would have done without you.
Oh, yes. No.
Bless you.
It's very good.
Oh.
I'm very glad I got back.
Well, we may see some more of you in Normandy tomorrow, I hope.
Yes, I think I have got something coming up.
Good. Well, I hope they give you a very stiff drink at the end of it.
It's my father. Yes.
Very good sign. Good treasure. I'm so glad they've been keeping a good eye on you today.
Oh, yes, he's been singing along.
Yeah, we're singing,
Because I think it was that was you, wasn't it, on the film, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, could have been.
Wasn't it?
Yeah. Probably singing, was it? Hello, sir.
No, because were you in the army?
No, it was in the Navy.
It was the Navy, that's right, yes. Good.
He was a beach commander.
The beach commander.
Yeah, just a small one.
You remember it all as if it was yesterday. So, did you then leave the Navy straight after the end of the war, or did you stay on for a bit?
Well, it's very nice to meet you. Did you? No, I didn't say thank you. We're all here to say thank you to you guys and all your colleagues. I'm glad the weather held up for us today as well. Thank you very much. Very nice to see you. Very nice to meet you. Very nice to meet you too.
So whereabouts?
Say again? Oh, are you? Okay. Where were you on D-Day?
Where were you?
Yeah.
Dad, what ship were you on?
Ramillies. HMS Ramillies. And what was your role on the day? What was your role? What did you end up doing on the day?
They're ready.
Harry the Ramillies was supporting stuff going ashore, but we never really talked to them about
I really did
already.
On the land, on the enemy positions. That's
Right.
what the Ramillies was doing.
Covering the walls. Does it bring back a lot of memories today? I bet the weather wasn't like it is today.
Portsmouth? Really terrific.
On board on the HMS Ramillies we were. Well, Philip wasn't it? He was on that.
The battleship.
Yeah, battleship.
It must have been marvellous.
It was.
Because he's got a wonderful watercolour of that ship.
Is he really?
In the bathroom. All these other ships.
Well, they wrote a book about it, the ship, and Philip wrote the foreword of the book.
So you weren't there at the same time?
No, just at the start.
So have you reached 100 yet?
Well, 99 now, and I was so hungry.
I'm afraid I was in all this, so I've learnt all about it. Anyway, it's lovely to meet you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Very nice to meet you.
Likewise.
Goodness me. Hello. Is this all your family too? Yes, it is. Hello. Nice to So where have you come from today? Oh, near Chichester. We're not too far. Oh, not too far. Just down the coast.
So are you going to go back today?
No, tomorrow.
And not coming to Normandy?
No.
Because we'll see a few.
That's right. Yeah, we just have to pick a few out.
Well, I hope they give you a restorative drink.
Is he looking after you?
Yes, yes,
very
yes,
well.
yes.
Your Highness. Are you here? Are you in Portsmouth?
I work at HMS Excellent, so...
As a submariner?
I'm intelligence branch now, so...
Anyway, I'm very proud to become...
Well, I am. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Do you talk much about it at home about D-Day? Has it brought back my memories?
Just recently. They asked him to go down.
You'll be well looked after. Coming from HMS Prince of Wales.
Yes, well, I was there also.
Well, yes.
HMS Excellent.
Gunnery
Gunnery school.
Well, we landed there just now.
Did you?
Well, I was there.
2 years ago.
Oh,
so
I
he's not
see.
going tomorrow.
He's not going tomorrow. No, so we're nice and warm in the sunshine here. Are you?
I was Mum's granddaughter.
Oh, you're a granddaughter.
Yes.
Very nice. Hello, daughter. All the family. Lovely. So you were serving in. What were you serving in? I can't recognise it.
It's the Royal Engineers.
Oh, Royal Engineers. Yeah, you did a fantastic job. And, I was there until 45.
And then left.
Yes, unfortunately, I'd already asked for a competitor.
I've met so many all my life. And first one. Yeah, I remember the last one.
How many D-Day parades have you Did you see it? Fantastic. That's really good. And where were you on D-Day?
I was stationed on Hailing Island with the combined operation.
Doing what exactly?
I was a cook.
So where have you had to travel from? Or are you living near?
Jersey, Channel. Got over rock, you know it?
I think I do that. Well, once we go, you very important right now.
Oh, really? You went there once before, digging a hole in there.
It was years and years ago.
That was it, yeah. Did you ever go there again? Did you go back?
I hope.
Oh, that's nice.
And then we might catch a glimpse of it there.
Hey, it's nice to see you.
So really?
Yeah.
So did you go all the way through the wall? Or just the
No,
last 2 years?
I landed on Juno Beach. Not by myself, I didn't
Unbelievable, there must be. But the amount of
Yeah, it's like a fireworks display. But when you're young.
And you were all right, you didn't get hit.
I was young once.
Well, I'm so glad they good on us. They give you some luck. I tried to back them up.
Just very much friends of mine. I've never seen them before.
Well, it's wonderful you're here. Thank you for what you did all those years ago.
No, exactly.
So thank you very, very much. Many memories. Thank you for sharing. Very clever. I think it's time you have to sit down.
I have such happy memories of him and my great uncle. I adored him. Was that in those days? Where were you? Which department? Down here or was it back in London?
No, Oh, very flattered. Well, look after him.
We will.
Oh, we've got the television here. We'll take you again. Lovely, thank you. Nice to see you. I'm going to be good.
That terrible lottery, please. Anyway, thank God we owe them so much for this to do.
Yes. Are you the sole survivor?
Of that detail.
Goodness me.
Well, I started young.
You must have been very young.
19.
You were 19. You always forget how young you are. You know, I suppose, did you have a great feeling of fear?
Oh, yes. Yes. You've got a very good memory. In fact, I can't remember anything. It's cold. Anyway, I see you in the RAF. So were you then involved in planning or? In what aircraft? You didn't get hit or have to bail out, did you? So was the Wellington quite a robust? With a tail.
What was it all like on the morning? Was it like they said it today, the weather changed?
Terrible. We set sail on the June the 2nd, that was on the Friday. Because D-Day was supposed to be June the 5th, wasn't it, on Monday. And the weather was so bad, we had to go back into the Atlantic in circles the ships. All the
really?
Ships.
Was the sea state quite bad in the channel?
It was. Still bad, yes.
And did you feel like there was something building beforehand? Was it the anxiety?
Well, we had no idea if we were doing no sea trials and guns. We know something's going to happen, yeah.
But it must have been amazing, the logistics to get everyone to go at the same time.
It's marvellous.
An enormous.
Marvellous. Marvellous.
They was all up for it. Apparently, when they were told that they were going, all the Marines threw their mugs up against the side of the ship and let's go, let's get on.
Yeah, it was on tea time when the captain spoke.
Was there, yeah?
He said, with the captain speaking, he said,
yeah.
Sorry, he said, we're going on the mission now to the liberation of France. Of course, we're getting excited, through the cups on the ball, on the bulkhead. We got no cups then.
Yeah. I'm sure that wasn't what they were worried about at the time. Never mind the cups.
But it's wonderful that he's here. It is. And enjoyed it, I hope. Good. Thank you. So has your family been looking after you very carefully? Your father? And all
His granddaughter, Albert Littlefield.
So, and lots of great-grandchildren?
Yes, about five great-grandchildren, yes.
Really?
Yes. About five, yes.
So are you living at home? On your own?
Yes.
And managing all right? Because it's suited to wheelchairs, is it? It's a bungalow.
Yes.
So were you in the engineers or what?
is.
But it's amazing your hearing is so good.
No, not.
Still very good.
I've done it.
Still very good. But I found it very moving, hearing the stories and the letters, particularly the letters to loved ones. I find that's very moving. Even now, 80 years later, it's still, everyone can feel that. Well, listen, it's very nice to see you.
And you, thank you very much indeed.
No, thank you. We're all here to say thank you to you. That's the thing.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank
very
you.
much. Lovely to meet you.
Thank you.
All the same family? Robert? Roberts? Royal Navy Beach Commando, it says, in Saw Beach.
Yes.
It's me. I've never been to Saw Beach. I'm going to Juneau tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
I've not been to Saw Beach. Have you been back a few times?
Yeah, no.
You have been back in the 60s.
How did you find going back then? Was it very moving, going back and seeing? It's probably very different to what it was 60 to 80 years ago. I found the service very, very moving. All the letters and the history. It's
How many were involved as well?
This is it. And the whole mission, the whole logistics mission, everything about it was enormous, huge. Does it bring it back to you like days like today, Robert? Is it?
It does a bit.
Yeah. Are the memories of D-Day still very clear in your head?
Thank you.
Did you land?
Sometimes it does, doesn't it? You don't really want to keep them on memories.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's an amazing thing they did.
It is. We'll all hear Robert say a big thank you to you. All, you and all your colleagues and friends, those who didn't make it back. It's lovely to meet you today.
Thank you very much. Oh, yes. Everything. Yes. Personally, I had a very good time. Oh, did you? Oh, good. I'm very pleased.
Whole event.
Oh, thank you very much.
Well done, Bob. You spoke brilliantly. Does it, how do you feel coming back and reliving D-Day? Is that quite a big deal?
Yes, it is, actually. Yes, it does make you think. And, you think that probably the last one.
No, never. Not with you.
5 years.
I can see you got another. There's another 2 more in you. Definitely. But it's amazing how you've all kept yourselves in such good shape through these years.
I'm just over 90.
Are you really? 99?
Hello, I'm Michelle, I'm a stalker, and that's his son, they call the area. You've actually met this gentleman before?
I'm sure I have.
In Colchester?
Being a para.
Yeah, in Colchester Barracks.
So did you actually jump out of an aircraft?
How many times did you jump?
80 on.
80 on. But at the time of D-Day...
One operation?
No. He went in as a reserve after D-Day itself.
Really?
Yeah, he joined the 8th Battalion in a little village called Hereford.
At least they dropped you in the right place. Because that's always the worry, isn't it, when you have it on the map?
Yeah. But he's 99.
99. So when is your 100th birthday?
19th of August.
Of August.
This year.
Good. I hope we'll have our card ready for you.
Can I just get a picture of you just shaking his hand? Is that right?
We are going to send you an invite.
Oh, will you?
We don't look far from
What's for his birthday
Right.
party? They give you another stiff drink today. Bless you. Well done.
Thank you, sir.
Are you looking after it?
Very proud.
So
recognised.
have you got just one good friend at the time?
I did.
You fighting alongside guys you knew really well?
Well, no, I didn't, because I only joined the regiment at the end of May.
Oh, really? So you were...
They'd come back from the desert.
Oh, had they? So they all knew each other quite well?
They all knew each other, but I was sort of a youngster.
It's lovely to speak to you. Thank you so much, honestly. And well spoken, honestly. Thank you so much. Lovely to meet you. Very nice to meet you all. Very proud.
Came back, some of them. No, not really, no.
Because they all disappeared.
Well, they came back, but they were in and out and in and out.
And did you make some very good friends in those days?
Yes.
In the Red?
Yes, yes.
But I suppose there are not many left.
No, there aren't any.
Old friends.
Very
Sad.
old friends at all. I mean, I'm going to be 100 in January.
You're not?
Yes.
Oh.
So we met some of them.
I should be thinking.
We met some of them at the palace a couple of weeks ago. We've got the Heroes event. We met Anne. Mum said, we are going round the garden. So we had a look around and saw your hand. Well done. The azaleas were spectacular.
Were they? It did look quite good then.
Yes.
Very happy there too. Another naval man. Don't even think about it.
I can recognise the tie you had to say. With family and carer.
Carer.
Very important person.
I know. So you're still at home? You're able to be at home? No. Which is all right, I hope. Have you reached 100? You are remarkable. So were you sailing in a ship at the time we
Oh,
yes.
They relaying the boys to mark the channels for Juno, the
I bet it was.
Them to good work at the moment in the Red Sea, so they're doing a good job for us. Do you know, I was the first. I spent the night on one of your destroyers, HMS Diamond. So I was the first Prime Minister to sleep a night on one of our frigate destroyers since whenever it was, 50 years ago, and that was some months ago. And then that was our destroyer that has gone out to the Red Sea and is dealing with the Houthis.
They didn't threaten you. They didn't threaten you with keel hauling, did they?
No, they didn't. They actually, do you know what? They gave me a very nice breakfast. Well, I served the breakfast in the morning, but it was very good. No, I didn't cook it. I served it out. I think I did the final bit.
Your wife was laughing too.
And I know she's not massively not good at confidence in my.
At the scrambled eggs.
Yeah, actually, my scrambled eggs are quite good.
You had a bone, not a hammock.
I had, you know what, the captain was, it's a tradition apparently, the captain gave up his bunk.
The map. She did the maps for Normandy landing. She did the maps. So she's 104 next month. She's still yeah. I know, it's frightening, isn't it?
Because I remember that I came across several times the last of the First World War. There's a lovely man called Harry Patch. He was in the Duke of Cornwall's light infantry. He was 111 when he... Yes, I've never forgotten. Oh dear. And you've got a very good daughter, I'm sure, to keep an eye on. And thank you for all the things you did all those years. No, it's the least we could do. I hope to see some more veterans tomorrow in Normandy.
Yes, perhaps they were there too.
Yes, exactly. You're 100.
I'll be 100.
Joe.
101 in August.
101 in August. Goodness me. It's amazing.
Doing my best. I don't know, it's right here.
No, it's not like that. You guys are all built of different stuff, that's for sure. Definitely. It's very impressive. And you landed on which beach?
Juno, but not these days. We was on the advanced airstrips. We call ourselves.
You're 100 years old now.
My goodness me. No, it's so wonderful. It's so wonderful to see you here. So it must be a very proud moment for you.
Well, I found out a lot of things that I didn't know before, actually. You know, getting her to talk and explain
things.
things.
Well, it's always, she talks a lot about things.
She always says to us it was very secret, don't you, Mum?
It was very secret. You knew how to keep secrets in those days. Quite right, too. I think my father never talked, ever. No, he just said it was their business. Anyway, thank you very much for everything you did.
The weather was nice today.
It was. Well, it was a bit chilly up on the stage.
You were right in the sun here, Mum.
You were right, so you were in the best place. Anyway, it's lovely to meet you. Thank you very much for everything you've done. Thank you very much. It's very very nice to see you.
And nice to see you.
Yes.
You do look lovely in pink.
Oh, that's very kind. It's a bit chilly up on that stage.
Yes, isn't it?
You're in a nice place here in the sunshine.
Yes, it's nice, yes. Getting round.
You're looking very smart and very young, if I may say.
I'm very lucky, yes. I should be 90.
Well, you've done very well. You obviously keep very fit.
It's a while.
Yes. Does she nag at you?
Sorry?
Does she nag at you?
Oh, every now and
Yeah,
then.
When it says so.
Just keep it on.
Keep it on.
So whereabouts were you be there?
I was actually on HMS August on a monitor and with the American warships on the Utah.
Oh, goodness, you're in Utah with all the Americans.
Yes, indeed, yes.
Goodness.
And we moved over to other beaches, rather,
yes.
and carried on. Our job was mainly 15-inch guns, I don't know if you know, that helped the troops to advance as we went along.
Exactly. And do you remember it like yesterday?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Actually. I love it, actually.
Yeah. It's extraordinary, isn't it, how sort of memory comes back.
It's gone so quickly.
Yeah, I know, but it does get. Well, I'm glad all the young are on.
Yes.
Did you know at the time how significant the stuff you were doing was?
I think we did, because I've signed up for secrecy.
Yeah.
I didn't even tell our mother.
I know this thing. Well, Catherine's, my wife's grandmother, she served at Bletchley as well.
Did she?
Yeah, she did. She was the missionary in the museum. She did the same sort of things as you.
Yes.
But we only found out, Catherine only found out at the very end of her life. That's what we were doing.
You're very good at keeping
I know, you ladies are very good at keeping secrets. Don't tell anyone. But it's so nice to see you.
Lovely to meet you.
So nice to meet you.
We must do it again.
Absolutely. Next year.
Oh, yes. Thank you very much.
You guys, I'm sure you want to go and have a drink and a chat. I know what you like doing. Have a good drink and a chat.
Nice to meet you.
Eric, very nice to see you, Eric.
And you indeed. You're a wonderful job. Yes, I know I would like it as a person. Well, you're doing a wonderful job. Yes, I hope so. Yeah, I hope so. Yes. Yeah, I hope so. I'm all right. It's a very good doctor. As long as you're all right, that's the main. Does help. So are you able to live at home?
You moved, didn't you, last year, Mum, into a care home in Barnet?
Food's not good.
They have lovely food, don't they? But you're not very... anyway.
Anyway, it's a great joy you're here today. Thank you for everything you did. Thank you so much.
Oh, that's right. You met 5 years.
Where?
Well, it's wonderful you've been able to get this before.
Yeah. Well, that's what nice. Is Kevin behind? This is my son Kevin. He's organised everything. Oh, it's so...
But you haven't had to come too far.
Oh, I see that.
Well, we came, Kevin's from London. We're from now. Nice we were there. Kevin's pushing the time. He's doing something about
So are you able to live in your own home still?
Yeah.
That's the great thing. Because have you also reached the same age?
Not yet. I was afraid of
crazy. Keeping you young.
that one's yours.
In the five. Fast. They're 85. To the end.
I'm friends. I'm trying to encourage Pat with her wartime memories to write a book of memoir. Not quite ready for it.
I got my father to be.
So do you eat now for the alcohol? So anyway, they were remarkable aircraft. I'm so pleased I've been able to fly in one.
Have you really?
Yes. One of the two-seat. It's a blue one. Two-seat. Well, I don't know whether this one is. Anyway, bless you. It's such a pleasure. Take care of yourself. You got all your family here as well. It's your family here.
Well, I'm family. I'm these are great friends who've told me.
Oh, I see, a great friend. Keeping a good eye.
Absolutely, sir.
Are you based down here?
I'm based in Collingwood, sir.
Because were you a rep?
I was indeed. I was a rather special.
Yeah, how would you know Jan? I always remember the trip.
Houseboat at home. And I spent my evenings with what was talking German.
So did you help with translations?
I didn't do anything.
I don't want to stand near you. Look.
I just told him, this is commemorating.
Who did you?
Whoever's wanted, Elvis from Africa, German. That was me.
I try very hard with my German, but it's not nearly as good as yours.
Oh, I'm sure I did.
No, I do.
Oh, maybe we should have a German.
Well, exactly. But are you all living in the vicinity?
Patty's in Chiswick.
Chiswick.
I live in Devonshire, but her niece and nephew are abroad, so we keep in close touch.
And you're going back at the end of the day.
Yes. I must go back to my camp.
Yes, exactly. But it's such a joy to see you here. Bless you. Take care of yourself.
Nice to meet you.
I must say, I think it's unfair that you have to do all this work when you should be reaching. Don't you think so? I mean, you have to get...
Never mind.
I really do. I think it's all. I must tell His Majesty.
Well, you're very kind.
I'm not at all, but because...
I was rather hoping it's only now that I begin to be a bit useful.
That's fine. If you feel okay...
Well, I don't know. Yeah. I think so. But are you ex-Navy?
Yes. Or just during the war.
Exactly. Did you join 2 years before D-Day or?
I joined in, let me see, 1943.
43.
During the summer. And then trained at HMS Collingwood. And then they put me down into Plymouth. And we picked up the little old ones called the Erebus.
Yes. Yes. So are you living down here now?
No, we're living in Edenbridge, Kent. Yes, I've got two.
So,
my son-in-law and his children.
right. Are they all here?
Oh, they're all here.
You look, you did so well. You were brilliant. And your great-great-grandfather.
Yes, indeed.
I was so impressed because it wasn't very easy, was it, Steph?
That's kind of
It's the whole family.
Yes, they made the effort.
Are they all taking turns to look after you?
I think they are.
or keep you entertained?
Yes.
Have you got a birthday coming up soon?
Yes, the end of December, then make me 99.
Because I was just thinking, most of you have to be very nearly 100.
Yes. Well, they are.
There's one lady who's 103. But you're keeping all right.
Yes, just a little bit of fun. I'm okay with the normal.
You are amazing. It was lovely to see you all. It was, wasn't it? Did you enjoy all the performance? I was wondering when the fly past was going to happen. Always difficult to coordinate. Anyway, take care.
Thank you.
And thank you for everything you did all those years. Thank you, sir. Isn't that good?
Friends as well. It's all about you, right? Did you do all the beaches? Or just our ones?
I tried to go from the very large scale. Well, that would be, I think, that would
You must have been quite good at art as well.
I'm painting now.
Oh, painting now?
But oddly enough, she said just the other day how she was a bit worried she might have got a few wrong. I thought, God, that's sad, 80 years. She's still worrying about it.
I think you did a brilliant job. You wouldn't have found where they were going without your maps, that's for sure.
Exactly.
There must be someone we can ask if your maps do still exist. I'm sure there's someone that shows. It's lovely to meet you, though.
Lovely to meet you. So nice.
Lovely to see you.
Thank you.
Jeffrey, hello. You see my father, he's gone, been gone. Jeffrey, you're on HMS Astral. Lane Boys and Juno.
Yes, Juno.
When you say Lane Boys, was that so the ships knew where they were going to go?
Yes.
Yeah.
Landing, yeah.
Because I imagine even if you turn up, they would have been confused which beach they were going to go on.
Well, I must say, Juno was a real beachhead.
Was it? I'm going there tomorrow.
Well, it was calm.
Was it?
It was for the Canadians.
Was it one of the hardest beaches?
Well, I think it was. Yeah, one of the Americans was pretty awful. I hope oh, I was going to ask you if your wife was getting any better.
Yes, she'd love to be here today. I was reminding everyone that her grandmother served at Bletchley.
Yes.
So she had quite a few in common with some of the ladies here who are Bletchley. We never spoke about anything until the very end.
It was secret.
Yeah, all very secret, exactly.
Yes, yes. Oh, well, that's very good.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Jeffrey, it's lovely to see you.
It's good to see you.
And we'll see you in 5 years' time for the 85th, all right? Nice to see you. Hazel, hello.
Hello.
You said it says visual signaller, is that right?
I was, yes.
On where? Was it on the...
No, it's not there. It was all over, up in Scotland. Quite a lot of the time.
Yeah.
They come down and D-Day. So ready for the landing off and the training up there to go over. Now it's out here at Oxford. On the D-Day night, And then watched, they came off after the last dog. And I walked back along to the Reverie. You couldn't see water from here to the Isle of Wight.
Because of the boats?
And I came back and watched this morning, and oh God, I walked back along the water, walked on water to the island.
It must, I was saying to the others, it must have been incredible. I mean, the logistical operation was enormous to be able to move everyone around. Absolutely incredible. The others are being wheeled off, so I'm going to quickly say, I'm going to keep you waiting out here, Hazel. It's so nice to see you. And we'll see you in 5 years' time.
Good night.
You too, Hazel. Nice to see you. Len, very nice to see you. It says here, Len, you're 8th Battalion? It says here on your badge you serve with 8th Battalion?
Yeah,
Parachute Regiment, is
8th
it?
Battalion.
And fought in the area of Caen. Where was that?
Cern, it's in Mike. Where's Cern?
Where was
Sorry,
Cern?
this is his son, Mike.
How do you do?
Oh, nice.
Very nice. Where was Sen? Where was that? Where was he in Sen? It says fought in the area of Sen.
He actually joined the 8th Battalion at a little village called Perevalette. Yeah, it's just outside. It's not far from Sannerville, the actual drop zone of the 8th Battalion.
And so you were parachuting on the day, were you?
No, he went in as a reserve after.
Oh, you went reserve afterwards?
Yeah. So,
done the Rhine crossing.
And how did you find, coming back to these D-Day ceremonies, how do you find, do you still have very clear memories about it all?
Tell him about his...
he does. Yeah. He's very deaf. He's more than like
a little bit of... tell him about your shrapnel you got in your eye.
Bit of shrapnel.
Oh, is that still there?
Yeah.
Goodness me.
He wouldn't have it taken out.
No way.
No.
They wouldn't take it out.
A memento.
They wouldn't take it out because it's too close to the
Too close to your eyes.
Yeah.
So he said, leave it in.
Still there. Len, very nice to meet you.
It's been lovely to see you.
Very nice to see you. I'm conscious I don't want to leave you guys out here too long.
Yeah.
But very nice to see you.
Lovely, thank you very much.
Norman, very nice to see you, Norman. Norman, so I see here you served with 5 Dorsets.
Well, that's the job for the Dorsets. I'm an RE, actually.
Oh, okay. And what are your memories of D-Day?
Oh, we landed at the Gold Beach. Just one of these days.
Yeah.
It's a ball. Not very good, but sometimes it's okay.
Okay. And do you find it very difficult coming back and hearing the stories again every time you do the D-Day events?
Oh, no, I became the last one.
Have you been to quite a few of them, have you?
Yes,
I find them very moving, especially the letters from the families. I find that very moving. I think it relates with every family. They always feel connected in some way. What must have happened? Well, Norman, it's very nice to see you. And look after yourself. And we'll see you in 5 years' time. I told you all that.
Yeah.
We want all of you here in 5 years' time, 85th. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Lovely to see you.
So you remember Cheryl?
Look, Cheryl, how are you? It's great. It's really great event. It's amazing well done. That was great. Apart from the RAF turning up late.
Oh, and that wasn't awful. No, they were delayed by air traffic.
See, I said that. I did say she's yes. I did. I said I don't.